Hey everybody, it's the OldLady08, and today I'm going to talk about the new Pokemon X and Y game. Much like you Pokemon fanatics out there, I went ahead and got it midnight. So I went ahead and got the guidebook as well, which is pretty cool. Take a look at it. Because as you guys know, I mean, Maryland, Serbia, stuff like that, they go ahead and do walkthroughs, but obviously they have to play the game first and they get it about the same time as us. So I went ahead and got the guidebook to make sure I could walk through it, see where all the Pokemon are located and everything like that without having to wait on Maryland to tell me so. So what I really like about this though, it was 20 bucks, I got it at Toys R Us. This little bookcase thing is kind of ugly, but once you take it off, go ahead and take this off really quick. I mean, it's actually really nice looking. So what you got here is you got the X and Y obviously, and then it feels sort of like this rubber suede sort of product. So it's a really nice book. And then it's small, it's pocket size, which I like that they changed it this year instead of having a big book. I mean, it makes more sense. It's a handheld game. The book should be handheld too. And then inside you get a map. Let me pull that out real quick. And then it's pretty much just, I'll show you guys at the end of the video, but it's pretty much just a map of the whole Kalos region. And then what you also get, which I really liked a lot, is you get this screen cleaner. So it's got the starters on one side, as you can see here. And then it's got the two legendaries on the other side. So like I said, I'll get a close-up at the end so you can see better. But it's pretty much a screen cleaner, so you clean your DS with it and everything like that. It's a pretty nice addition. And then once you open the book, it's pretty standard, although each page is sort of like laminated. And then, of course, the reason why I like the guidebooks is because usually when they come out with the new gen, they're going to come out with new mechanics. And of course they did this time. So to get a jump on the new mechanics, the new breeding, stuff like that, I want to go ahead and get the guide. And the other reason why I really like the guide is just to be able to see which wild Pokemon I can catch where. Because some of the Pokemon I always keep an eye out for is like Machop. I really love him, or Krogunk. So I want to know when I can find them and how I can find them as soon as possible so I can train them, everything like that. And so with that said, we can move on to sort of what exactly they changed in the X and Y. So as everybody knows, they put Mega Evolution. So not every Pokemon has a Mega Evolution, although I think they probably will release one. Will release more eventually. But some of the cooler Pokemons are Gengar and Alakazam have Mega Evolutions, and then of course everybody knows about the starters. What I also want to talk about though is the breeding mechanics. So what they changed from the breedings, if you guys don't know about EV and IVs, I guess I can give a little quick explanation about that. So IVs is like saying your Pokemon's potential. So every Pokemon has an IV for each different stat. The higher the IV, the higher the potential. So to kind of explain this, pretend you have two Charizards, exactly the same nature, everything like that. They're clones, but one has a higher, like a 31 IV in attack, the other one has a 2 IV in attack. The one with, when you get them to level 100, if you train them the exact same way and everything, the one with the 31 IV in attack will have a higher attack than the other. And so obviously that means when you breed Pokemon, you want to have Pokemon with high IVs because then they're going to have higher stat totals. So what they changed this year is that if you have one of your Pokemon hold the Destiny Knot, that's going to guarantee that 5 IVs from the parents are going to be inherited by the kid. So essentially what that means is before you were able to give one IV using the power bracelet, power whatever, you can give one specific stat to the offspring. But now if you have one hold a Destiny Knot and then the other one hold the power bracelet, anklet, whatever it is, then there's a potential that you can give all 5 or all 6 IVs to that baby. So that's pretty cool. It makes IV training a lot easier. And then now the other thing they did was with the super training, they made EV training a lot easier. So to explain EVs are essentially, they're called effort values, and essentially you can think of them as training one specific stat to make it higher. So once again, take that Charizard example. If I have a Charizard, then they both have, say, 31 IVs, right? And then I don't give any EVs in that attack stat for one, but I give the full EVs into the attack stat for the other one. The one with the EVs is going to be able to reach its potential and get the highest attack stat, and the one without won't. So I guess the easiest way to think of it is IVs is potential, EVs is how to reach that potential. And so what they did is they added this sort of, I guess you could say, mini game where you can train your Pokemon in each EV stat. So normally throughout the game, the only way to get EVs is to defeat Pokemon. So certain Pokemon give you certain EVs. So like a Machop will give you attack EVs, and so on and so forth. And when you beat a Machop, say you get 3 EVs, and that goes to your attack EVs, and you can have a total of 510 EVs. And so you're going to want to pick 2 stats, so you can max out 2 stats. You're going to pick the 2 favorite stats for that Pokemon to train, and then only fight Pokemon with those that give you those EVs. So obviously that's kind of difficult then, because you just run across whatever Pokemon you run across. So what they invented is those different power items that give you a certain stat EV no matter what you defeat. So you can get the one for speed, so even though Machop is supposed to give you attack EVs, it'll give you speed EVs because you're wearing that bracelet. So now in the Pokemon X and Y game, they created a super training thing where essentially you play a mini game and you win bags, and the bags are labeled different stats, so attack bag, so on and so forth. And with the bags, they give you the EVs when you essentially just hit them. So it's just like a little mini game. You just drop a bag, you put your Charizard or whatever there, and then you just tap and tap and tap until he hits the bag, and then you gain and you get EVs. So they're small, medium, large. The large gives you 12. So now this is pretty awesome. You can get 12 EVs. So you just collect them, and then you can easily EV train. And there's also a little chart so you can keep track of how many EVs you have. So it'll tell you if your attack EV is really high or really low or whatever, so you can keep track of them. And then what I really like as well is there's also a reset bag. So the reset bag lets you reset all your EVs for your Pokemon. So say if the Charizard that you got at the beginning of the game from the Charmander, obviously, you got from the beginning of the game, so you trained it all the way, but you didn't get the EV training because you played it through the whole game, well, you don't have to completely abandon it and start over. Just use a reset bag and then start EV training it from there. So those are some of the cool mechanics that I really like. The other new breeding mechanics is now you can transfer a hidden ability from the male or the female, so it doesn't have to just be female. That's really, really awesome as well. Alright, so with that said, so the breeding is really, really improved. And the reason why I really like this book is all the information that I told you is essentially in here. So what it also gives you really nice, it gives you a nature chart, it gives you breeding groups. I'll go ahead and open it up for you guys. So see right here, this is pretty much a nature chart, so it's going to tell you based on what nature your Pokemon is, what stats are going to go up or down or grow better or not be affected at all. So this is really, really helpful when you're trying to breed the right Charizard. Say you want a high attack, you look through and you say, okay, what nature do I want? And what I really like is because of this game, you can't get a Ditto until the end of the game. Of course, you can get it through like the global transfer system, but you can't catch one until the end of the game after you beat the Elite Four. But what this gives you is it gives you all the A groups. So you say if you want to breed a certain Pokemon, this is going to tell you who you can catch to breed them with. This is going to help out big time until you can get the Ditto at the end of the game, and then it's just the breeding gets really easy from there. Alright, so one cool new thing is this feature it talks about at the bottom is there's actually this thing called the ability capsule in the game, and what the ability capsule does is it lets you switch your Pokemon's ability if they have 2. So you know how some Pokemon have 2 abilities and then maybe you're breeding one and you get the perfect IV nature combination, but then it has the wrong ability, and that sucks. But with this ability capsule you can just change it to the other one, so it's really awesome. It saves a lot of time, so you don't have to worry about the abilities. Instead you can just focus on the natures and the IVs. So if you guys haven't played Pokemon X and Y, a new thing that they added is this thing called the O powers. So the O powers are like essentially these powers that you get from this guy in this pink suit, and they give you various different abilities. I mean, one increases your attack stat for 3 minutes, one increases the prize money you get, the capture powers, you can capture Pokemon equally or easily, but one that's really, really cool is that it increases or decreases the time for an egg to hatch. So what's really cool about that is you can, once you level up to level 3, I mean, they hatch really, really quickly. Combine it with like magma armor, somebody has an ability that reduces hatching time, and it really speeds up the whole breeding and hatching process. So this is really, really awesome. So what I like the most is that this Pokemon X and Y, they made breeding a lot easier, and they made the EV training a lot easier. Now, the only thing I hope to find out later in the game is that hopefully they can make knowing your Pokemon's IVs a lot easier, because that was one thing that was kind of hard in the older games, is they'll tell you if you had one that's really high, but you didn't really know what the other ones look like. Yeah guys, so if you haven't played Pokemon X and Y, go get it. It's really awesome. It's the best game yet, and I'm serious about that. It takes all the good parts from all the other games and puts them together to make this new awesome game. Then it adds some new features like petting your Pokemon, feeding them, all this different cool stuff. And what I like the most about this game though is that they kind of slow your progression down. So usually in the other games, when your first Pokemon's about level 30, you already have like 4 or 5 badges, and this one you get all the way up to level 50 before you even get your 4th badge. So that's really awesome. They slowed it down, so it's a definite buy. Alright guys, once again, thanks for watching. Go ahead and leave a like, a comment on what's your favorite new feature for the X and Y. And then go ahead and leave a friend code if you guys want, if you guys are looking for trades or anything like that. I got a bunch of the Kanto starters if you guys are looking to trade or anything like that. So once again, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.